Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Sunday, April 5th, 2015 at 8 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's going to be a nice and sunny day. Highs in the mid-40s, a little below average for this time of year, but we'll take it. Happy Easter. Some news to report. The Boston Bruins beat Toronto Maple Leafs in a shootout by a score of 2-1. Good win fight by the Bruins. Ottawa won last night, so they're keeping pace. They're getting more and more confident for a playoff spot. Boston Celtics beat Toronto Raptors in overtime by the score of 117-116. Celtics have the number 8 seed in the playoffs if the season ended today. And Wisconsin beat Kentucky Wildcats to go into the NCAA title game to face off against Duke. Kentucky's not going to go undefeated, my friends. Very disappointing because I thought they could run the table. And the Cleveland Indians on the verge of signing pitcher Corey Kluber to a long-term extension contract. Kluber won the 2014 AL Cy Young Award. And the Major League Baseball season starts tonight on ESPN. It will be the St. Louis Cardinals against the Chicago Cubs at 8 p.m. on ESPN and ESPN Radio. And that's about it on the news. My first video subject of the day is about ESPN's Baseball Tonight. ESPN's Baseball Tonight has been on the air since 1990, the first year that Major League Baseball games was on ESPN. And ESPN Baseball Tonight is a highlight show with games in progress or games being played or like games being over, and it's aired weeknights at 10 on ESPN for about an hour during the baseball season, or it's on ESPN2 if there's a conflict with a sporting event on ESPN. And there's also a midnight edition of ESPN's Baseball Tonight on ESPN2, which is a new updated version of the night, which they usually show the West Coast games being played, highlights of the West Coast games. And hosting ESPN's Baseball Tonight as the primary host is Carl Ravitch, and he has as his main analyst Aaron Boone, and there's other analysts as well that appear on ESPN Baseball Tonight. And also, like, they have insiders like Buster Olney and Tim Kirshen and Jason Stark and a few others. There's a lot of segments on ESPN Baseball Tonight, like 3 Up and 3 Down, and they have highlights, web gems, like great plays of the games with defensive plays and stuff like that. They also have like an insiders segment where they have like Buster Olney and Tim Kirshen talk about some inside stuff on there. Plus they have usually profiles on players and stuff. Great home runs stuff. They have more inside features, plus, and they have like breaking. They could show in-game highlights of a game in progress if it says something very significant about it, like if there's a no-hitter or a perfect game or whatever. ESPN Baseball Tonight could show that to them. And ESPN Baseball Tonight started in 1990, and it was originally a half hour, usually late at night and stuff. But when they had the Sunday edition of ESPN Baseball Tonight for many years, it was before the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week on ESPN, and hosting that Sunday version of Baseball Tonight for many years was Chris Berman, and he had as his in the studio was Peter Gammons and former Major League Baseball player Larry Knight. And Chris Berman, of the highlights, he would also would say when there was a home run call, we're going to go back, gone. Or he would say some crazy names like Eric Burger King or Greg Appomattox and stuff. And Chris Berman brought like a good style to like hosting ESPN Baseball Tonight. He did it for select games for Baseball Tonight on Sundays during the season for many years, but he's not on Baseball Tonight anymore. It's usually Carl Ravitch hosting the Sunday night version of ESPN Baseball Tonight, which they kind of call it ESPN Sunday Night Countdown. They kind of mimic it like the NFL Countdown for the baseball thing, which is pretty good. And when they have at the end of the show for many years, they had like when they showed the home run list, they had the baseball going being hit and it was screaming ah! And they would show the highlights of the players who hit home runs that day and stuff like that. And ESPN Baseball Tonight's been a brand. They have it on like during the baseball season, like 11 o'clock at night on ESPN radio. They have an hour version of ESPN Baseball Tonight on the radio, hosted by Mark Cassius, and during the baseball season, Monday through Friday, on ESPN.com, there's a podcast of ESPN Baseball Tonight, hosted by Buster Only, and he usually has guests like Tim Kirch and Jason Stark and Jerry Krasnick. Plus, he has Tim Kirch, and he also has Kyle Lavish on during the season with Aaron Boone. They call it the Fireball Express. It's real popular. And years ago, they had like a baseball game for like Sega Genesis with ESPN Baseball Tonight with Chris Berman's voice on it. And when there was always home runs calls, he would go so back, gone, and stuff like that. ESPN's Baseball Tonight, like, was for many years the only baseball highlight program on cable television, but with the upstart of the MLB Network and MLB Tonight and Fox Sports 1's baseball whip around, ESPN Baseball Tonight has a lot of competition for it, and they are stepping up the game every single year with how they're producing it, and plus with the analysts they have, which is pretty good and stuff. And I like watching ESPN's Baseball Tonight. It's a great show. And a little interesting fact, ESPN produces Baseball Tonight more often than any other studio show except SportsCenter every single year. So there's more episodes produced of Baseball Tonight than any other studio show for ESPN besides SportsCenter. That's pretty amazing considering that baseball is not as popular as the NFL or NBA or NHL in some parts of the United States, and that's an amazing fact. And ESPN Baseball Tonight's on tonight at 7 p.m. Then they have it at Wrigley Field tonight because it's the start of the Major League Baseball season. And I always listen to the ESPN Baseball podcast with Buster Only. It's a great podcast, and it's lots of insider information and stuff, and rumors and news and stuff, and bleacher tweets, and like one last thing. And I think you should listen to it. Well, be back. And this is the end of this video blog for right now. Be back later. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're gonna get 2 more video blogs today. One will be about the history of the American Wrestling Association, the AWA, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, regional wrestling territory that lasted from 1960 to 1990, based out of Minneapolis. And the third and final video blog on night will be about pro wrestler Vern Gagne, who was a long-time AWA world champion and the AWA owner and promoter. And that's going to be the start of the Minneapolis sports blogs of famous personality profiles. George Mikan, Dino Ciccarelli, Harmon Colorpool, and Fran Tarkenton will be video blogs the next 4 days after Vern Gagne. And great ones are coming to these video blogs. Next Sunday, everybody's going to be happy with the video blog of Julie Bratton. And have a good day. Happy Easter. Bye now.